Christians, I need y'all to make it make sense, because your mentality concerning Satan and the devil does not make sense. Your continuous belief since the fourth and fifth century, when they first created the doctrine of the devil and Satan being the same being, and even though with our methodologies today and archaeology today and our linguistic studies today, it is very easily apparent that the Satan and the devil are not the same being. Even without all the scholastic studying of the Bible, but just reading it within itself and understanding it within itself, you should be able to come to the conclusion that Satan and the devil are not the same being. Just in this person's statement right here, where they were arguing with another person, and the other person said that they are that's in my video where it said that God and Satan are on team, that Satan had to get permission from this God in order to do what he did to Job. This person trying to justify saying that that was only in the case of Job, but that in any other case, Satan does not need God's permission or anyone's permission to go and tempt anyone. But then he says, in the case of harm, then it is only if God allows it to happen. So in a sense, Satan can go do what he wants to, but then God still has to allow for it to happen. And the only time it was a direct situation is when it dealt with Job. That's what you're trying to get me to understand, trying to convince me of here, which would still suggest that Satan can only do what this God allows him to do, meaning he's still, to a certain degree, getting permission without direct connection of getting that permission from your God. It's kind of like the kid doing things in the house knowing that it could get away with it as long as the parent doesn't stop them from being able to do whatever said thing that they're doing, but also knowing there's a limitation to what they're able to do. Now, the biggest problem here is that Satan and the devil are not the same being. That's where the disconnect must first happen. And I'm not even going to go into heavy linguistics about it, just simply what your book says. According to your book, your God cannot be where there is evil. According to your book, the fallen angels were cast down out of heaven. Yet in this story, Satan is allowed to go to heaven as he pleases, as he chooses. They're having this heavenly council. And this guy says, Satan, where have you been? He's supposed to be the all-knowing God. So him asking the question off the bat was problematic. But he says, where have you been? And he said, I've been going to and fro, back and forth from heaven to earth. But if he is a fallen angel, why is he in heaven at the heavenly court if he's a fallen angel? Evidently he is not, because the word Satan means the adversary in the Semitic language. We're not even going to go to the Sumerian language of what it meant there. But in the Semitic language, it means the adversary. So he's like a prosecutor. He's part of this heavenly court. He is not the devil. And just like any other angel in this book, they can do things that are cataclysmic to people. You had two angels that went into Sodom and Gomorrah and supposedly destroyed the town. You had the angel that was going to kill Balaam when the donkey was going back and forth and Balaam was beating the shit out of it. He was going to kill Balaam. You have other stories in the Bible where angels are fighting and causing destruction. So it's not that angels in heaven are all just fat little babies sitting up there playing harps. No, that's not the situation. So for an angel to be an adversary, one that opposes and asks the question that most others won't ask, that to be the prosecutor, to say that, hey, man, they're only doing this because of that, to bring reason to the camp, doesn't necessarily mean it's the devil. That was a later invention as people started asking questions about evil and asking questions about the beast and Beelzebub and all these other deities. And then that becomes your devil especially in the New Testament, because there wasn't a concept of a devil in the original Hebrew understanding. That was a later concoction that came as they were Hellenized and then Romanized. Then the idea of a devil began to make its way into their culture. So you didn't have one. But then as Romans cultivated Christianity, in and around the 4th, 5th century. This is when Beelzebub, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, the beast, all became one with its head priest, the Antichrist, and they all became one. It's doctrine, it's dogma. It is not what your book says, but yet you won't accept it because you accept the doctrine and the dogma. But y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.